Hi guys, hi YouTubers. Want to talk about my custom Glock, which is for sale. I'd like to apologize for two things: the weather, the rain. I've been battling rain for the last week and I keep redoing this video, and every time I come out it starts to rain, and it's doing the same thing tonight, just drizzling. But I think it's going to pass through, so we're going to keep rolling. Also, I have these blue fingers, which I apologize for. I've gotten into some really nasty solvents recently for not wearing these, and well, I should be wearing them. So to spare you from the dead skin on my fingertips and to prevent any further damage, I got 50 of these and plan on wearing them a lot more often. Okay, we have a color fill here, That's about the only cosmetic changes I've made to the Glock. We have ammunition in here, so I'm going to remove this from the table. And we have 450 rounds of ammunition, 124 grain Fiocchi, some random Aguila 115 grain, and some random Remington 115 grain. I'm going to pause the video and remove all the ammunition from the table before we handle any guns. Okay, we're back again. We removed all the ammunition from the table, consolidated things a bit underneath this awning. Apologize for the weather and the conditions out here, but just don't have enough room or any place to shoot inside. There's just a size consideration, size constraints, room, available area, so I'm probably getting to shooting this video outside, and we'll make the best of it. Let's have a look at the Glock. Glock 17. It is, let's get in frame here. There we go. Empty. No, the one last cosmetic change I made. Oh, I might want to add before I really get going here is I have every single stock part. I didn't want to litter the table. I did originally, and it was just too crowded. I just kept a couple parts out here. I took the box that the original custom part came in and put the stock part in them. I have Pierce +2 grips, and here are the box they came in, and here's the original OEM flat pad. I've got 3 of these for the 3 magazines that the gun came with. And I have a similar container and stock part for all the rest of the parts in a big box. The gun comes with all the stock parts, including this OEM stock barrel, which the gun will come configured with, which has 0 rounds put down it. You just have a light film of oil. It's been cleaned from the factory. I have a light film of rem oil. Same as this, the gun is perfectly clean. It's been expertly lubed with some dry lube in the striker area, and the rest has just the rails, and the trigger mechanism has some Tetragun oil, which is recommended by Glock. The gun will come with a Tetragun oil as well in a sealed, at least 2 or 3 bags. Stuff that tends to be a little seepy, but you should get it just fine if it needs to be shipped. So let's just have a look at this this guy. This is obviously a compensator made by Jager. It is held on by threads on the threaded muzzle of this Lone Wolf barrel, stainless barrel, which is very accurate, by the way. It's really just indexed by this little tiny set screw, and it's not a very good design. That set screw is really fragile. I have a whole package of longer ones that I bought. I couldn't find that length, but I made a spare one after the first one kind of stripped out by just dremeling it down. There's about 4 of them in here, and then running it through the tap to clean up the threads. It's just a tiny little set screw that's mainly made designed to index this on the flats, whereas the Compensator is held on primarily with liberal amounts of red Loctite on the threads. I removed all vestiges of red Loctite. It's perfectly clean now, and the barrel will come as it was when it was new, packed in this original container. Let's just break this down very quickly. See, we just have very, very tiny amount of grease here, or gun oil. Primarily the inside of this is filled with dry lube. You really don't want to gunk this area up much at all. It has a Jager made recoil spring and recoil rod that differs from this, and this is not, you can't disassemble this and change the spring weights. So actually you can run this rod with the heavier springs that I have if you want, or you can run, I just run the stock spring when I'm shooting the, well, when I would shoot the stock barrel. I've used the stock spring with this barrel without the Compensator. So these are your options. Also I have spare springs. I have a 15-pound, 13-pound. These are the best springs supposedly that you can get. Is me. Silicon, chrome silicon, I believe they're made of. And this is an 11-pound spring, which is what you need to run with the Compensator, because the Compensator is so efficient, it sucks out so much of the recoil. It can barely cycle a slide unless you run this spring and 124 grain ammo, and the result is pure heaven shooting it. It's try it. You'll leave it assembled as a compensated gun is my guess, and not use this barrel. I just never used it. I have not used it yet. I've not had the desire because this Compensator works so well. I have some spare screws for this end should you ever need to disassemble it and this little guy goes flying. Just in anticipation of that, I do have some spare screws. This is Loctited in with, I believe, blue Loctite currently. Again, I want to emphasize that you'll need liberal amounts of red Loctite on the threads of the barrel and the set screw, and then a heat gun if you ever need to take it apart. Heat guns are not expensive. If you don't have one, you can use a hairdryer or buy a Wagner heat gun for, I don't know, $20 on Amazon, something like that. It's really worth getting. Let's go over some of the other parts that we have here. Anything that you see is golden color is a coating that's put on, actually a plating. It's called titanium nitride. It's just gold in color, and it's similar to your nickel boron. It has slippery properties that need little or to no lubrication for it to function well. This little safety plunger has been recontoured by the manufacturer, so it has a much shallower, much shallower face for this to come across. This part right here, and that makes for easier cycling of the slide, easier racking of the slide. The hammer, or the striker rather, is skeletonized, and it can be seen if I depress the safety. There. You can see the little guy sticking out. Oops. This is designed a little longer than stock because I have light springs in here. We don't want any light striker strikes, and certainly I have not had any light striker strikes since I've been running this skeletonized extended striker. Let's go ahead and put the I'm going to stop and I'm going to put the original barrel back in, because this isn't secured and it's kind of hard to rack the slide when it tips to the side. So let me pull back again. Looks like we got somewhat of a reprieve. It stopped sprinkling, at least for now. So let's get moving. We've got the OEM barrel back in. We have Trigicon HD sights. These were very expensive. I think they were $220, $230. Hard to find a discount on these. They're tritium inside, and also this has a phosphorescent ring, red ring, that glows in the dark when you add light to it. Whereas the tritium glows anyways, but it's not really that bright in twilight or situations where there is some light and not enough light really to see your sights properly. That's where these HD sights really shine. And then in daylight, you have this beautiful orange dot to reference. It's just the best sight that I've used. Very happy with it. Let's look at the guts. I've taken everything out, stripped it down to the barest, tiniest, just the bare frame. Taken out as much as you possibly could. I've hand polished everything very carefully without removing any metal. I've polished at low speed, so I didn't change the temper on anything. Absolutely no metal was removed, just the surface microns to make it as smooth as possible. And rather than polish just where I think the wear areas would be, I polished everything. So every single surface of all this trigger mechanism, locking block, is completely polished inside and out. The resulting function is like night and day. The gun's so smooth. I have an Evo 3.5 Ghost connector in here. I have their spring set, not the very lightest. I think the brake is around 4 pounds, but it's a very, very crisp 4 pounds, which I'm about to show you. There is a Glock made trigger. It's a stock OEM trigger that Glock made, OCC triggers, both the same name, has taken and put on bench and run a drill, a tap, and a tiny set screw down. And this is adjust and takes out all the pre-travel, or as much pre-travel as you want. And the Evo I hand fit to take out all of the over travel. So this gun, this trigger has 0 pre-travel and 0 over travel. It's the best trigger I've ever felt on a Glock. I don't think you can buy one of those $250 triggers that's going to be better than this. It's not too light, it's not too heavy, it's just right. The reset is only that far, and there's no take up after that when you go to fire it again. That's just it. The reset is the ending position of that trigger. That's where that ends up. That's it. So this gun rapid fires like nobody's business. It's the best. I wanted a magazine well. It wasn't this big giant heavy alloy well that would stick in my side, and it was just for competition only. This is a nice compromise. It's not an expensive item, and it really does work. It really helps. If you don't like it, a couple screws just pops out, and the gun is just as it was originally. This gun can be brought back to original form very easily. I looked at a lot of different extended magazine releases, and I like this one the best. I'm very happy with it. I don't have to take my hands or move my hands. It's rounded. It has a rounded profile. It doesn't stick out very far actually, but it is a true extended mag release. I forget who makes it, but I have the original mag release kicking around. But trust me, you won't want to put the original back in. This is quite nice. It can be moved to the other side, just like the stock one. This slide release is the slide lock. This is the slide release. To release the slide is slightly extended. It's made by a company called Brass Stacker, and I don't know why the Glocks just don't come with this. I find the original one very hard to catch and hard to start, and I find this one extremely easy, and it doesn't stick out so far that it bothers you. It's just perfect. Glock should come with that. This I looked at a lot of different extended slide releases, slide locks rather, and I didn't like where they were. They were way up here. So I decided to get one made by Glock. This is one of the few aftermarket parts that is a Glock brand. This trigger is Glock, that's Glock. So we have two items that were aftermarket items that are Glock. And I'm very happy with it. I don't trip it accidentally. It's just exactly where I want it. It doesn't stick out very far, but just far enough that it trips very easily and pushes up very easily. Need very little force to actuate that. You're loading a magazine from a lockback slide. That's it right there. You're ready to go. I have the original Glock magazine loader, the original beaver tails and back straps. This is the large. I have the medium on right now, and I have this little piece here. I can't remember the company, but they send two. I have the other one that comes with it. It's got ribs that go this way. I prefer this version, and it just changes the angle of the grip more towards a 19-11-45. Not exactly, because you still have the palm swell back here, but it makes it so your wrist isn't broken and it's a more natural point of aim. I quite like it. I have an extra large hand, and I find the medium grip more than ample, and I find the large grip a little big. I have long fingers too. All my gloves are XL, so I think you'll be happy. If you got big hands, you'll be happy with this. If you have smaller hands, just take this off. What else? We got the original little brush and gun cleaning rod. I have these spare pins. There's nothing missing from this kit. This is a pusher tool. It's built into your backstrap holder, and it's not very good. So I got a Glock, a Ghost. I believe this is Ghost triggers. I can't remember. Yes, it is. It's made by Ghost. This is a Glock Tool. And this is all you need to completely take the gun down. That comes with the gun. I have every single scrap original paperwork, what I paid for the gun, $5.50 plus 30 shipping, sorry, 25 shipping I believe it was, and $5.25 plus 30 shipping. All right, let me put my glasses on. Here's the original invoice. $555 total with shipping, plus $25 transfer fee, $580 for the gun. All the original paperwork, every scrap, owner's manual, all the little fun brochures that come with it. I didn't throw anything out. It has the original shell casing that comes with the gun. My state does, actually 2 of them. My state doesn't need them, but this comes from the manufacturer should you need to file this with your home state. I did not throw those out. Comes with the card from the people I bought the gun from, W Guns in Texas. Very nice people, by the way. Highly recommend dealing with them. They had the best price I could find on this flat dark earth Glock. This is a factory polymer color. It's not painted on. That's the color all the way through the polymer. It's much darker than a Magpul flat dark earth. It's what you call a true dark earth. I like it better than the black. This is not painted either. That's a salt bath nitride. They call it Tenifer. They're able to use some kind of a harsher chemical in Europe. It makes it for a little stronger finish. And so I believe these are finished overseas, but the Glocks are assembled here. Okay, the elephant in the room is this device on the end. It is a Viridian combination laser and light. And it has their shorter version. It's their compact version, the 5CL I think it's called. And it is just incredible, especially for a guy with aging eyes. I can't always line up these sights exactly the way I want. So it's nice to have a laser. And it is bright. I mean, it's just unbelievably bright. It is daylight visible and extremely visible at any gun range. The nice thing about it, that I like about it, is when you're doing drills in a gun class, you can holster the gun with the laser on. It shuts itself off. It's locked in here. It's called a tack lock holster, made by Viridian. Hit the release, pull the gun out, and your laser comes out on. You have different modes. Let me point this down. That's the light and laser. I don't think you can see the laser with the camera for some reason. There's the flashing light in the laser, and you have a flashing laser. I like this mode. It saves on batteries. Again, this is where you actuate it. It's a little close. I don't know if it's close to the trigger, but I just don't feel that comfortable unholstering a gun and reaching up and actuating this when it's so close to the trigger. I like the idea that it's already on in standby mode when it's in the holster, and you just deploy it. It's brilliant. Paddle system goes on a web belt, pants, anything, and it will not come off. It's a booger to get off, as a matter of fact. Very good system. You can change the cant of it. I like it pretty much straight. Actually, I have it. Yeah, that's pretty much straight up and down, actually. Right now. You can cant it however you want. Forward, backwards. It comes with, I have the original box kicking around somewhere for the Viridian laser. I have the original box for the tack lock holster. I have this case that comes with a Viridian, and it contains the several spares for the tiny little Allen wrenches that change the point of aim on this, up and down. I have spare batteries, and I have all the spare side attachments, little side arms that you need to go on different guns. It fits a variety of different guns. Obviously, I have the Glock version, the Glock tabs on right now. So basically, it's just like everything else I have. I have every original piece that came with the Viridian plus some. I've got 4 spare batteries. I haven't had to change the battery since I've had it. It seems to have excellent battery life. It doesn't run the battery down that I've noticed while it's been in storage. I think I've had it for 4 or 5 months, and it's just as good as the day I put it in. I don't back off the battery cap when I have it in storage, although you can do that if it's in for long-term storage. But I've been very happy with this, extremely. Let's see, I have the instruction book. I think even the warranty registration. It's warranted. I don't know what the warranty is on it, but they're very good. Viridian is got some of the best customer service. I had another one that did not, it was an early model, did not have the tack lock version on another gun. And I sent it back to them and they converted to a tack lock version for free. And did it all in a couple of weeks. So if you ever have any problems with them, and I would imagine that you would, they're great to deal with. Okay, let's pause here while I thought I'd show you what's involved with a color fill. Should you ever want to redo it. It's not for life. It's not Cerakote, but it's not white crayon either. It's the sturdiest thing that I've been able to find, and it's called nail art. It's a very heavy-duty nail polish. It's very thick. I do put on about 3 coats, and then I take a chisel X-Acto knife once it's dried and chisel off 90% of the excess, even on the polymer. It's a very, very sharp X-Acto knife. I'm able to shave the paint off without harming what's underneath or scratching the metal. See, there's just no scratches here. It seems to be safe around most solvents, brake clean, but acetone will take it off. And in fact, acetone takes it off too well. That's why when I am actually applying it and taking off the excess of the dried paint, I use a non-acetone nail polish remover and actually a piece of printing paper instead of a paper towel, and that serves as a nice smooth surface to polish off any of the excess paint and only leave the color fill. If you don't like color fill, this can be taken off with a brush and an acetone, or a brush and this non-acetone nail polish remover very quickly. It's very easy to take off. I suggest you do leave this color fill. I mean, this is really handy. These numbers are almost impossible to see in dim light, and it's nice to have your magazine listed as for its caliber, especially if you have other Glock calibers. You can tell at a glance, looking at an empty magazine, what caliber this is, and of course how many rounds you have in once it's loaded. Just again to show you the smoothness of this function. It's just like silk. The gun will come, it's all lubed. There's oil down both barrels. It'll come just like this with the original barrel. I'll probably unscrew this slightly so it doesn't, so if this gets pushed, it won't turn on. I take that back. It's going to come inside the holster. That way it can't get pushed on automatically. And it's going to come inside. It's going to be stored inside a plastic bag So it's hermetically sealed, and no dust or dirt or lint can get in on it since it's been cleaned and lubed, which is, well, it was clean. I just re-lubed it just before the video started. So that's the way it's going to stay. Hopefully someone will be interested in buying it. I've got, with the laser, I think $1,300 into this gun. I'm willing to sell it for considerably less. I'm willing to take the laser off. I'm willing to part the barrel out. Although I highly recommend that you take the laser and the barrel. It's a nice package. It's an incredible package, and I can give someone a great deal on this. Please contact me through my YouTube account. If you don't know how, Google how you leave someone a message on their YouTube account, and I'll see it and can supply you with better my text number. I don't, for obvious reasons, I just don't want to lay out my text number for the world to say. Contact me if you're interested, and we can talk about this. This is Big Dave out.